So hello class, welcome to the video discussion on our chapter 2, lesson 2, to buy or not to buy. That is the question. Our lesson objectives will be at the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the association of self and possessions, identify the role of consumer culture to self and identity, and appraise oneself based on the description of material self. So first up is about William James. So William James is a Harvard psychologist in the late 19th century. So he wrote a book which is the principles of psychology that understanding the self can be explained through these three different components. So what is these three different components? So first here is number one is the constituents, the feeling and emotion they arouse, self feelings, and actions to which they prompt self-seeking and preservation. So we will be focusing on the constituents. So what is constituent? Ano nga ba yung nasa loob ng constituent? So the constituents of the self are composed of the material self, the social self, the spiritual self, and our pure ego. So the material self, we will discuss that more deeply. The social self is how you are with other people. The spiritual self, we will discuss that later. And the pure ego, so ito yung mga yung past lessons natin. So we will be focusing on the material self for this lesson. According to James, the material self daw is about our bodies, clothes, immediate family, and home. So sabi ni William James, we are deeply affected by these things because nag-invest daw tayo dito sa mga bagay na to. So this, we have a material self-investment diagram. So according to in here, ang yung body yung pinaka nasa loob. Then next is our clothes. Then next is our immediate family. And then last is the home. So let us discuss first the body. Okay, so yung innermost layer of the material self is our body. Why? Because we invest in our bodies, right? So, meron tayong attachment sa bodies natin. And, nagsastrive din tayo or nagwo-work tayo ng very, very hard para i-make sure na nagfa-function yung body natin and to make it healthy. So, yung ibang celebrities, super invested talaga sila sa bodies nila. Like sila Mariah Carey, ito yung sa kabila. And then, si J-Lo. Example lang to ha. So, kumuha talaga sila ng insurance para sa certain parts of their body, like yung kay Mariah Carey, yung vocal cords niya and yung legs niya. And then, si J-Lo naman, yung puwet niya. Kinuhaan nila ng insurance yung certain parts of their body. So, tayo kaya, class? When kaya? When kaya tayo makakakuha ng insurance? Char. So, kayo, class, ano yung part ng body nyo na pinahahalagan nyo? Next sa body is yung clothes na sinusuot natin. So, William James believed that clothing is an essential part of our material self. So, sabi naman ni Hermann Lotz, so he is a German philosopher, he stipulates in his book, Microcosmos, that anytime we bring an object into the surface of our body, we invest that object into the consciousness of our personal existence, taking its contour to our own and making it part of ourselves. So clothing daw is a form of self-expression. So we choose and wear the clothes that reflects ourselves. So meron ditong statement sa picture that you can tell who I am by the way I dress. Ang reflection daw ng personality natin or natin is our clothes. Tingnan mo itong mag-best friend. Makikita mo yung personality nila na iba talaga sila by the way they dress. So the third in the hierarchy is our immediate family. Our parents and siblings are very important part of ourselves, right? Ano yung gagawin nila is merong effect yan sa atin. So, their success become ours too. Yung success nila ay atin din. as well as their downfall. So, lahat yan may effect sa atin. We get affected when anybody in the immediate family gets sick, and more so when the ones we love passed away. Like sa mga difficult situations, we always prioritize our immediate family. So, di ba, merong kasabihan na blood is thicker than water? Malaki yung investment natin na nilagay sa immediate family natin, like emotionally, physically, financially. Why? Because we see our family as the nearest replica of ourselves. The fourth and the outermost component of the material self is our home. So the home is the extension of the self. It is where the heart is. So, yung home natin, siya yung naging witness sa mga masasaya at malulungkot na naranasan natin sa buhay. It is the earliest nest of our childhood. May mga parts ng bahay natin na hindi natin makakalimutan. Meron sa atin na nag-transfer na ng home several times but may still be able to connect with the home which held many of your memories. So, kahit nag-transfer tayo, meron pa rin tayo memories sa mga past homes natin na hindi natin makakalimutan. So, yung investment na nilagay natin sa constituent, magkakaroon ng attachment yun sa buhay natin. The more we invest, the more likely we identify ourselves to it. Yung mga tao daw, meron tayong tendency na mag-collect and possess things. Sino dito mahilig mangolekta ng mga action figures, mga shoes, bags? Ano pa ba yung kinokolekta? Yung mga damit. Yan. Yung collections natin is magiging part ng self natin. Kasi di ba, that is who you are. So according to A. James, and I quote, "A man's self is the sum total of all what he can call his." So, end quote. So, yung mga possessions natin, mga ari-arian, ay magiging part ng self natin or extension na ng self natin. We are what we have. So, according to kay Russell Belk, American professor of marketing, said, "We regard our possession as part of ourself. We are what we have and what we possess." The identification of the self to things started in infancy stage when we are able to make distinction between the self and others in the environment. As we grow older, dumidecrease na din yung importance ng mga material possession. However, yung ibang tao, yung mga na-acquire nilang possession, eto yung nagiging source ng happiness nila. So, there are times when the material possession of a person that is closely associated to that person gains acknowledgement with high regard and value, even if the person is already gone. So, kahit mamatay na sila, meron pa ring value yung mga bagay-bagay o mga ari-arian na naging kanila. So, for example, si Kobe Bryant. Di ba, patay na si Kobe Bryant. So, yung things niya, like for example, yung towel niya, linagay sa auction. And, naka-earn daw ito ng $30,000. So, di ba? Grabe, kahit patay na siya, yung gamit niya is very important pa rin. To end this discussion, the possession that we dearly have tells something about who we are, our self-concept, and our past, and even our future. So, lahat ng mga bagay na meron tayo is may meaning yan, and it reflects ourselves. Okay? So, our next lesson for next week is the supernaturals, believe it or not. So, ito yung spiritual self. Okay, the end class. Thank you and have a good day or have a good night. Goodbye.